and the new I-9 was recently released. It is one page, and Sarah Laidlaw posted about it, and I haven't seen it, and I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to look at it all right together. Okay, so the I-9 used to be one page when I first started doing accounting, and then it went to that two-page form, and now it is back to a one-page form. So the standard is last name or family name, first name or given name, middle initial, other last names used. So obviously that would be your maiden name or any other name that you ever legally were using. The address, city, state, zip, date of birth, social security number. That is a small box to put in a social security number, especially if it's going to be written and not typed on. And then the email address and phone number, and you certify that you're either a citizen, a non-citizen, a lawful permanent resident, or a non-citizen other than number 2 and number 3. And then if you check number 4, you need to enter a USCIS A number, I-94 admission number or foreign passport number and country of issuance. And then it's signed by the employee with the date that it's signed. And then we put in the employer review and verification is what was on the second page. And list A or list B and C. And then the signature of the authorized representative of the business. So the last name, first name, title of employee or authorized representative, the signature, the date of first employment, today's date, employer's business or organization name, all of this. And then the list of acceptable documents. It does not look like this has changed. Acceptable receipt. Okay. And then I'm like, they didn't have the translator or all of that section on here. So that is the second page if it's needed of the I-9. Now they've added it as a supplement instead of it being part of the form. And then supplement B is the re-verification and hire, formerly section 3, where it but I'll tell you, I have only one time ever seen supplement A filled out for the prepare and or translator certification for section 1, and that wasn't for any of the employees that I was verifying employment for. It was for a client of mine who was a translator. They were filling this out and wanted me to look at it and make sure that it was filled out correctly because they had not done one before. So 90% of the time, I would say, or maybe even more, we're only going to need this first page. And I always send the list of acceptable documents when I send an I-9. And we'll still send the, supplement A and supplement B, but we don't need, we're back to only having to print and retain a copy of page 1, which is a pretty big deal, especially for those of us that use the uh, that do e-verify. And I'm lost my mouse again. I was looking to stop for the stop share button. Because e-verify did change um their allowing of remotely verified documents or not in-person verified documents that they had implemented during COVID. So now anybody who was hired during COVID that had their documents remotely verified, or just like, here's my ID, and just verify it on the screen like that, they all, if the employee is still working for the company and they verify their documentation that way, they have to go to a remote service location and have somebody actually physically review their documentation from list A and list B, and verify that everything is correct. And then all of those I-9s have to be e-verified again, is my understanding. That last part I'm not 100% sure about, but there does have to be on the original paperwork a signature of somebody who verified everything was in person. So I know that was causing a bit of a headache, especially for people who hired remote employees and did not in-person verify. Because I know so many people, us also went to having remote employees. Because, before COVID, all of our work was remote, but we still went to an office. And during COVID, we were already transitioning back to working from the home office and letting the employees work from home. But COVID accelerated the implementation of that by, I think, 2 or 3 months. But it did speed that up. But who knows? If COVID didn't happen, we probably would have had the beautiful office at home and still gone into the rented office in town, because then all of our team would have been working together. So those are the big updates as far as employment verification go. Let me know if you guys have any questions.